Hey, welcome. Walk number 2.
Welcome to Street Wisdom and Creative Mornings Worldwide Wonder. If you're just tuning in, please rename if you can, rename yourself and put the city in that you're calling in from. Rachel. Hello, Rachel. It is so lovely to see you.
Rach.
All right. And if you haven't turned your camera on, turn your camera on. We want to see your lovely faces. This is a safe space. We will not judge any messes in the background. We love pets and kids walking through too. Everyone's welcome. If you can, rename yourself with your city after your name so we get a sense of where in the world you're calling in from, or put your city in the chat as well. Welcome, welcome. Menorca. Somebody's winning here. Austin, we love Austin. Lynn, Georgia, Montreal. Can we get someone from Australia? Can we? Is there an Idaho? In Chicago, this is wonderful. I love the internet so much. I don't know about you, but I love it. Bergen Street. You mean on my block where I am right now, Marty? Your neighbors.
All right, Tina, we ready to go?
Yes, let's go.
Ooh, no sound.
That's okay.
Try it. We're gonna try.
Going. It's fine. Good morning, everybody. Great. Or good afternoon, depending on where you're calling in from, or good evening. My name is Tina Roth-Eisenberg. I'm the founder of Creative Mornings and your New York City chapter host. And it is my absolute great pleasure to welcome you all to the Worldwide Wonder, our 24-hour relay of celebrating mornings and creativity around the world in collaboration with the wonderful folks of Street Wisdom. And with me here today is David. He's my co-anchor. David, do you want to say hello?
Hey, lovely to see you. I'm David Pearl. I'm buongiorno. If we're going Italian, I am the so-called founder of Street Wisdom. Although, as I often say to people, it found me. I think several of my colleagues in Street Wisdom here, and we're delighted. The Worldwide Wonder has begun, and you are picking up the creative baton as we walk around the world.
Yes, we are. So David is in London, but I am welcoming you from live from Brooklyn, the ancestral land of the Lenape people. And I am so happy that you chose to make time for today's experience. I started Creative Mornings exactly 14 years ago in New York City with the hope of finding my people, which are creative, curious folks, kind folks who believe in living a creative life. And boy, did I find you, or let's say we found each other. And because today Creative Mornings is a big heart forward community that spans the globe. We're in 224 cities and 67 countries. And every month we get together and celebrate creativity. And now we get to collaborate on completely bonanza projects like this one with remarkable humans like David Pearl and his team from Street Wisdom.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see. I would love to know where you're all coming from. So, you've already actually looking here, Brunswick. It's brilliant. It's brilliant. It's fantastic. During Street Wisdom, we're going to be asking you to think of a question you'd like a fresh answer to. Why didn't you just put in the chat column a word that gives an indication of the kind of area you're going to be asking a question about? It's really good to use this experience we're having together today to be intentional and point it at something. So what would you be pointing it at? It might be career, it might be, I don't know, for me it might be sleep, it might be more fun. Just pop the general area that you're looking at into the chat column. That would be great. Work-life balance, yeah. Play, says Jenny. That's beautiful, yeah. So just as we're describing to you what's going to happen, and there's lots that's going to happen, just allows your mind to be thinking, why am I here? Where could I be taking this? Just to say a couple of things. It's great to see you. Great to see some of you. We'd love you to turn your cameras on if you can, if your data package will allow it and your circumstances will allow it. And this is going to be a series of workshops, which means we're going to be walking. Now, some of you are experiencing, I know you are, Tina, in New York, some weather events. The sky has opened and water has fallen out of it. But those of you who can walk outside, prepare to do that, because we will be doing a lot of the work outside. And if you can't walk or you'd rather not walk, that's also fine. You can do it at home, not a problem. This call is also being recorded, just to be clear. We're building up a 24-hour record of your wonderful wanderings, for posterity, but also to see if we can harvest some of your brilliant ideas.
Yeah, and I want to also welcome everyone who's tuning in on YouTube and who's not on the actual Zoom. We are happy you're here no matter which channel you're coming in from. So welcome, welcome, welcome. And use the chat on YouTube. It's going to get channeled back to me and David in case you have a question. And David, can I just say, I'm kind of feeling quite giddy given that we've been working on this for a few months and now it's actually happening. And it will be happening for another 22 hours. I
know, it's a kind of what you can't see is it's like a swan. We're looking calm and we're looking happy, and there's an incredible team behind us madly paddling to keep everything together. You'll meet Kyle. He's one of the key people there, but Philip, Vanessa, all of you, Alexa, and great, amazing people who are making this happen. And I just think before it'd be lovely to hear from you, Tina, what's going to happen. But just to say a bit about why, just very briefly, is, both Creative Mornings and Street Wisdom are passionate about creativity, and we believe in it for its own sake and as being something that's intensely human. And also at a time like this, where the world seems to need great new ideas and we need better futures, we feel like, well, it could be down to us. Let's see what we can do to really exercise our imagination, come up with better ways to be living, to be working, to be loving, to be laughing, to be eating, to be being human. And that's really what today is about. It's a kind of collective, we're blowing the conch and summoning you wonderful curious creative to see how we can make this world a better place. Tina.
And I want to also say to that having experienced, I remember the first time I experienced the Street Wisdom, David, I feel like the magic you bring to us is that you really make us present, like fully present, and I know the people that are drawn to something like Creative Mornings or Street Wisdom are inherently curious people, and sort of when I feel like you're the person that pulls the antennas out in us, and then no, I'm serious. Like I have a few more antennas ever since Street Wisdom, and I'm just incredibly grateful for that. But I just want to say, in case you just joined and you're like, where am I? You are at the Worldwide Wonder. This is a collaboration between Street Wisdom and Creative Mornings. This is our second event of 16 in the next 24 hours, celebrating mornings around the world. And we will be traveling westwards around the globe to come back to New York tomorrow morning. So you can join in multiple times on the worldwidewander.com, as many times as you want. And each session will involve a Street Wisdom-led workshop. And but first, before we get started with the workshop, we have a special guest message that we would like to play for you. And we're really, really excited to welcome a message from the wonderful Shamash Alidina, Master of Mindfulness and Acceptance and Commitment Therapy. Shamash is one of the UK's leading mindfulness experts and is an accomplished teacher, coach, speaker, and author. And he's the author of Mindfulness for Dummies, and most recently, The Mindful Way Through Stress. Boy, do we all need that. He loves coaching people to live in the present moment in a calm and focused way. I actually have a watch that says now. I think he would approve. And here's Shamash and his message for us.
Hello, good people. My name is Sid. I'm Sid the Sloth, and I'm just taking this opportunity to share some tips to inspire you for your creative lives, essentially. I'm standing in for my mate Shamash, who's a big fan of mindfulness. He's always going on about it. I'm just standing in for him because he's probably sleeping or meditating or something. So I thought I'd share some tips from me, because he thinks I'm quite good at slowing down, being a sloth and all that. Anyway, let's get to the point. So, ways to be creative. Well, you know what? Since this Shamash guy is always going on about mindfulness, I would say that being mindful, slowing down, taking your time, letting ideas incubate is actually quite a good way to be more creative. I know you guys all love lots of doing and being creative and all that. That's great, but sometimes you need to give it some time, give it some space. So just, you may study, you may do lots of stuff and get your hands dirty and all that, but do take some time to go for a nice slow walk, to have a nice long bath, or just essentially sit around and do nothing for a while. Just feel your breathing. In fact, let's breathe together. Oh my God, I love that. I might do a few more after this. Anyway, that's my tip for you. Slow down, let ideas incubate, chill a little bit, and Shamash is on the floor right now. I'll tell him to come up and join me. Yep. So yeah, that's the tip from Sid the Sloth. It's bye from me, and bye from Sid. Bye.
I kind of like having sloths talking to me. I'm okay with this.
Yes.
Is Shamash a friend of yours?
He's a friend of Philip's. Philip, why don't you unmute and tell us how you met Shamash?
I just know Shamash through the wonderful mindfulness world. I'm a fan of his workshops, and he does lots of trainings. So yeah, just a big old fan.
Amazing.
I love how many of us are saying we need to slow down, and this is one of the things we'll be doing together. Of course, there's two questions to consider: is what stops us slowing down, and is being slow better than being fast? We will hopefully by the end of this session have answers to that. And the other thing I wanted to say: any mindfulness people have done a lot of mindfulness work, raise your hand now. They raise their hand in a very still way. Have you noticed that? It's a very glowy. Look at Pierre and Marie. It's like, yes, I do a bit of mindfulness. There's a little kind of warm glow coming out of that hand. Jorge, also beautiful. One thing I would say is that, and I could be wrong, but the work I've done on mindfulness, very often we're trying to still our mind and trying to stop it wandering in a way. And what we'd love you to do today is allow it to wander, and let's follow where it wanders. We're really letting the mind and the body wander to see, let's get lost and find treasure is the kind of idea. Yeah, Tina?
Yes, David, and you are so good at getting us to do that. So, but before we give you the mic and let you run with it, because I know you're antsy and you just want to get going, I know you. We're going to hand the mic to Kyle, who is part of our Creative Mornings team. And I don't think he has slept in a few days. He has moved multiple mountains to make this event happen. So he deserves a big round of applause. Kyle, over to you.
Thank you, Tina. Thanks for that introduction. Good morning, everybody. Good morning if you're in Central Time Zone, Mountain Time Zone. If you're calling in from Peru or Colombia, and it's your morning time. We're so happy you're here. I've been involved in Creative Mornings for over 10 years, but I've never really been involved in Creative Mornings for 24 consecutive hours. Yeah, we're using a joke from the last event. It's one of the downsides, I guess, if you're here again walking with us, but I promise I won't use it again. Thank you so much for joining us for a part of this 24 hours. It's really special. I'm the Chief Community Officer at Creative Mornings HQ, and so I'm happy to see so many of you here, and a special good morning handshake to some of our volunteers and organizers that I see here on Zoom. I'm based in Toronto. That's where I'm calling in from this morning. It's beginning to be late morning, but it's a beautiful morning, but the sun is rising. and the sun is just coming up in Central and Mountain time zones. There's 39 Creative Mornings chapters that are represented in this time zone, everywhere from Bogota to Birmingham, from Albuquerque and Winnipeg. Thank you so much for waking up with us, for coming out to this event. You can see the full list of cities participating, as well as all of the other events in the next 24 hours at www.theworldwidewanderer.com. If you haven't already, please take some time to rename yourself with your current city. If you haven't, let us know where you're calling in from in the chat. Do that too. All right, so I want to take a few minutes here to tell you about how Creative Mornings events work. If you're new to our organization, every single month, usually on the last Friday, a crew of hundreds of volunteers wake up early, head to a venue, and start setting up chairs for a free monthly creative talk. Teams of volunteers in each city work tirelessly to organize the speakers, the volunteers, the coffee, the breakfast, the AV, the venues, the partners, and every other aspect that makes a great community grassroots event. Most importantly, those volunteers' hard work feed an engine of generosity that keep all Creative Mornings events, much like today's event, free forever. In some cities, you'll have an opportunity to pitch the entire room and a creative idea or an opportunity, or hear a musician, to find a new collaborator. The most important thing is that you're going to be amongst a diverse group of creative talent from your own community. And if you travel, you can make Creative Mornings part of your itinerary. You can find a Creative Mornings event in over 200 cities in nearly 70 countries. And I want to highlight some of the chapters that are here today with us. I was at an Austin event a few years ago, and they opened every event with a live musician, because Austin is, of course, known for its live music, and what a beautiful thing to see. Here in Birmingham, we have some morning people getting ready, getting amped for their morning event. In Bogota, we have attendees listening intently. I love this photo. This is 4 generations of volunteer hosts in our Chicago chapter. Good morning, Chicago. A mug library from the Columbia chapter keeps waste at a minimum. And people gathering in Denver, in Omaha, in San Antonio. So please, wherever you go in the world, please join us. We'd love to have you. And that's what you can expect at a Creative Mornings event. And if you go to the website, you don't have a chapter in your city, or you have a chapter, but the host position is available, don't fret. Go to the bottom of the page, click Start a Chapter, and you'll be on your way to becoming the new host of Creative Mornings in your city. So with all that said, it's time to check in with a local chapter, and I'm so excited to welcome Susanna Juarez, our Creative Mornings Guadalajara host. I'll stop to share, and Susanna will join us. Good morning, Susanna. Good to see you. We'll have to.
Hi.
Oh, there you go.
Hi. Hi.
Susanna, where are you? Tell us everything.
Oh, well, I'm in the street. This is the Museum of the Arts. And I'm just outside it with the sun shining on me. So, hi.
I love the shirt. I know that the chapter designed that. Tell me, how did you get involved in Creative Mornings?
I was a destiny because I was browsing MailChimp website when I found their annual report in 2013, and I just checked the projects they were helping, and just like that, Creative Mornings popped up, and I clicked on it, and that was it. The rest is me applying and doing this since 2014.
Amazing. Well, wonderful. We're so happy to have you leading our Guadalajara chapter. Can you tell us what a typical event is like?
Well, it's usually in the mornings, early in the mornings. People still complain that it's too early, but they show up anyways. And I try to put the audience in a little bit of trouble with games, or making them a little bit uncomfortable by doing stuff they usually don't like to do. But after they do them, everything is more like casual. And I don't know, I don't think it's too different from the format on other chapters, but people have told me that they feel energy afterwards. So I hope they are energetic every time.
Amazing. That sounds like a great way to start the day.
Yes, it is.
Do you have a speaker that sticks out in your memory from one of your events?
That was a tough question. I was thinking about that very hard, and I can say that almost 100 speakers have given a talk in Guadalajara, so it's hard to pick one. And now I see that as a stained glass mosaic. Every single speaker has left something in me. The only thing that I can highlight is that I know very little. There is so many things to learn from other people, and it's fun to find out what you want to learn next. So that's from all of them.
That's amazing. I love that visual of the stained glass mosaic of all of your speakers contributing. That's beautiful, Susanna. What about a piece of feedback from an attendee? Have you heard anything back from that's stuck with you all these years?
Yes, I have one attendee that usually travels a lot, and he attends other chapters, other talks, and he came back to me once and said that he felt that I poured my heart on the event. So that's the thing that I just treasured most, because we do we really do. We try to make people feel loved, and I hope they feel that.
Oh, that's beautiful, Susanna. Thank you so much for sharing. And I 100% believe it too. Absolutely. And during the pandemic, we got a chance to call into your event virtually, which was really fun to see you and all of the other hosts around the world doing their thing.
It was fun. It was fun seeing you with your face like, oh my God, I don't understand anything.
Yeah, not speaking a word of Spanish, just sitting there like a deer in headlights. I still enjoyed my time there, but it was great. Do you have a question that you're pondering right now? Something that you're going to be thinking about while you wander?
Yes, I've been struggling with time to do my personal projects, not work, not family, but finding spaces to do the things that I want to do without being paid to do them. So that's the answer I will hoping to find today.
Amazing. Well, good luck in your search for answers to your questions, and have fun on your wander. Thank you so much for joining us and for taking the time to show us the sights of Guadalajara. Have a great one.
No, thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
Have fun. That's it for me and your little peek at Creative Mornings chapters around the world. So please, if you haven't been to an event, please go soon. I'm going to hand it back to Tina and David. Thank you both.
Thank you, Kyle. Man, Susanna, I just must say, every time I have interactions with you, my heart grows 3 times its size. I'm so grateful that starting Creative Mornings has brought people like you into my life. It gives me so much hope for just the globe, the world in general. David, if you knew Susanna, this woman she's moving mountains, and she's incredible. She's so heart-centered and so generous, and is pouring her, time and generosity into putting these events on. I'm getting all weepy. Whoa. Okay, moving on. I'm going to give the baton to you before I start crying, David.
We love it. We're only in the second quest. We're in the second walk, and we're already in tears. There is something very touching about this. This is a community that is brought together by creativity and curiosity. And what we're about to share with you is really, we hope you feel it's a gift, which it is. For many of you, it may be familiar, but with Street Wisdom, we've spent 10 years we only recently discovered Creative Mornings, so we've been kind of working in parallel valleys in a way, but perfecting, hopefully, a practice that we're going to share with you now, which we call Street Wisdom. And basically it is, I developed it over many years working with executives. They're actually humans, but they're called executives, a horrible name. And people that work in tall buildings made of glass and steel. And I found that, I'm sure many of you do similar sorts of things, but I found that when we moved into the street, when we left the construct of work, went into the street, everyone was more open. They left their identities behind a bit. And it made me think that the street is kind of the space between our identities in a way. It's at home, we are who we are at home. In my case, I'm a expert cook and a do-it-yourself master. Not true, but that's how I like to think of it. At work, I do what I do, but in the street, in the space between, it's almost a space between our identities. And so what we're going to be asking you to do is to move into that space. And again, as I said, you don't have to leave your house to do it. It's great if you can, but you don't have to leave your dwelling if you can't or you'd rather not, because the switch is really in your mind. It's not really in the street, and we'll discover that in a bit. But let me just tell you what's going to happen and invite you on this experience, because it's super simple. I hope that's okay. There are some pretty advanced people on the call. I can see Mark in Morrisville. He looks advanced. Pierre-Marie, we know, has already done. She does mindfulness stuff. And Jenny Schwartz definitely looks like she's right up there in the creative elite. But it's simple. I hope that's okay in the sense of fundamental. We have 3 parts to street wisdom. How many parts, Jenny Schwartz? How many parts, Jenny Schwartz? 3. This is why she gets the big bucks. Good. The first part we're about to do is called the tune-up. It should really be called the tune-in in a way. I'm a musician, so I called it the tune-up. But in fact, it's just as much tuning in. What we're going to do is 3 short wanders. Each time I'm going to give you a little instruction, something simple. And when you wander with that instruction in mind, it is going to open up your neurology and your senses to the world around you in a way that is strong. It's a bit like logging into the internet of ideas that are all around you. The reason we're doing this is because most of us, myself included, in order to live this life we're living, is we close down our senses. There's too much noise, too much distraction. We don't want, and we plow on a straight line through life in order to get stuff done. What we're going to do is the opposite. We're going to open up to those distractions with the idea that there's treasure, there's meaning in them, there's answers are everywhere for us. Okay, so we'll do those 3 short tune-ups. And then, which is part 1, part 2 is the quest. The idea here, Tina mentioned it before, Kaya mentioned before, what question you're going to be asking. So think of today as a way of getting fresh answers to the questions on your mind. You know, there's some of those questions that go round and round and round, yeah? And you're a creative person, but somehow you can't resolve it. What's next for me in life? Or should I stay or should I go? Or, how can I, make more money from the hobby that I have? And so on and so forth. What we're going to do is we're going to ask those questions in a little walk that we call the quest. And at the end, we're going to share what popped out at us and how might it be an answer to your question. Any perfectionists on the line, please raise your hand. Tina, absolutely. Hand shot up. Betty, and it's good. It's a bit like, Perfectionist Anonymous. Yes, I'm a recovering perfectionist. Yeah, well, we've all got a perfectionist in us, but that perfectionist might want to say, right, I'm going to do this exercise better than anybody. I'm going to have a life-changing experience, and I need to get the question exactly right. Chill out. Chill out. This is an experience, yes, but it's a technique that you can take away and practice. It's a practice. And just use a question that seems delightful and interesting to you for now. Go for it. Be bold. But don't fret about it. Okay. So, my friends, are we ready for the tune-up? The tune-in, the tune-up. Great. Now, whether you're outside or inside, what I would ask, if you're inside, what I would ask you to do is not look at the screen. Have you noticed how during the pandemic, we've become even more visual than normal? In the theatre where I come from, we call the eyes the fascists of the head, because the eyes like to think they're in control. What I can see is real. Really? Not so sure. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to ask you to listen to my voice, but not look at the screen. A bit like, do you remember the telephone? Do you remember the time when we would listen to each other but not look? That's what we're going to do. Because also, sound, as you'll discover, is a little bit more emotional often. And it helps us, it frees us. So what I have you to do is if you're looking at a computer screen, step away from the computer screen, just listen to my voice. And what we're going to do is we're going to tune up our bodies. This is a technique of practice that draws on your embodied intelligence, the intelligence that's in your heart, that's in your lungs, that's in your skin, that's in your gut, and above all, that's in your feet. We're going to let our feet be more intelligent than our head for once. Okay. And talking of our feet, let's just thank you, Tina. Friends who are choosing to stay inside, that's great. But it'd be great if you could turn your cameras off. That'll also free you. And that means that all we're seeing are people who are outside. Did we mention the YouTube audience, Tina?
I think we did. Yes. Yes, we did.
So there's a billion or so people watching on YouTube, somewhere around that number. So we want to give them the richest visual experience as well. And when you do, if you do go outside or you are outside, particularly on the Quest, it's great if you can turn your camera so we can see what you're seeing. And that way we're walking with you. It's lovely to see your faces, but it's also really interesting to see what the world through your eyes. Okay, so let us, for a second, remember we have feet. See if you can come to stillness wherever you are safely and pay attention to your feet for a second. Are they the same size? Just look at them from the inside for a second. How are they doing, your feet? Are they the same? Is one fatter than the other? Is one hotter than the other? Give them a name. Mine are called Dolce and Gabbana. Give them, they're not the same, those feet. When was the last time you paid them attention? They brought you all the way here. Give them some love. That's great. And you can give them a massage just by maybe putting more weight on one foot and then on another foot. Let the weight roll from side to side. Gravity, remember your first friend as a baby, gravity, your first play friend. How do you play with gravity? That's great. And those of us who have knees could maybe just see if we could flex them. Notice what happens if you flex your knees, what it does to your eyes. Your knees are suddenly more important than your eyes. They make your eyes move, yeah? And what about your hips? If you have hips and they work, again, your eyes, imagine your eyes are lasers with paint in them, paint lasers, yeah? And you are painting the area around you with your eyes. What would you have to do to paint everything around you with your eyes? You'd have to loosen your shoulders. You'd have to remember you have a neck. You might have to look down as well as up. You might even have to go down to the floor and rise up. You might have to become three-dimensional again. Beautiful. Beautiful people doing beautiful three-dimensional work. Remember, you're not just two-dimensional and your body isn't just there to get your head to a meeting. Okay, great. So I think you're now ready. You're limbered up and we're ready to be three-dimensional humans tuning up our senses. We're going to do 3 short walks and each time I'm going to give you a instruction. And it'll be simple instructions, something like, it could be something simple as have a wander and look for even numbers. It won't be that, but it could be that simple. And when you are following these instructions, we're waking up your senses in a particular order. That means that in a few minutes, you'll be super plugged into the world around you, ready to ask your question. Okay? So the first tune-up, don't worry about the timing, by the way. You can unhook from time. I'll let you know when we're moving on. Great. So ready for our first wander, our first tune-up? Great. What we'd love you to do is to wander for a few minutes. Again, I'll tell you when we move on. And we'd love you to be drawn to what attracts you and notice what doesn't. Be drawn, be physically drawn to what attracts you. You notice when little kids are attracted to something, they don't just sit there noting it down on a pad. They toddle towards whatever that is, and usually they put it in their mouths. If you don't believe me, look around and ask yourself, how do I know what everything here tastes like? Because at one point you did put it in your mouth. I'm not suggesting you do that now, no. But get curious again, get three-dimensional again. Just notice what attracts you, be drawn to what attracts you, and notice what doesn't attract you. Yeah? Be drawn to what attracts you, notice what doesn't, and I'll speak to you again in about a few minutes. Your mind might have an opinion about this, your brain, and it might not want to stop when your body does. So really listen to your body and let your body pick up what attracts it, the sights, the smells, the feelings. And just let it take your brain for a walk for once. You're doing great. Take another minute at this, it's great. Really let what attracts you pull you off the path, turn you round, pause. Okay, beautiful. Ready for your second tune-up? That's great. For your second tune-up, what we'd love you to do is continue walking, but this time to slow right down. That's it, slow right down. That means keep walking, but when you walk, see if you can move your limbs slowly. When you turn your head, it turns slowly. When you blink, you really blink slowly. When you breathe, and it's good to breathe. Take a deep breath, but maybe you can increase the space between your breaths, right? The rest of the world's going to carry its own speed. But what we want you to do is notice what changes when you choose to slow right down. And just notice what happens in your mind and in your body when you choose to slow right down. Just slow right down the way the sloth was telling us to. Really enjoy that. Speak to you in a few minutes. You're doing great. And when you think you're going slowly, see if you can go even slower. Explore what it means to be really slow wherever you may be and whatever may be going on around you. Just take another minute. Okay, that's wonderful. That's wonderful, as we say. Let's get ready for our third tune-up now. All of these tune-ups are building inside your body, inside your neurology. So this third one is really a beautiful way to bring it to a conclusion. What we'd love you to do is to keep wandering. Again, really let your feet take you where they want to go, not where your brain tells them to go. What we'd love you to do is to see the beauty in everything. See the beauty in everything. Actually, it's more, isn't it, Tina? It's more than seeing the beauty, it's sensing the beauty, because your eyes are not just the only way we sense beauty, right? Your sense of smell, your sense of taste, your sense of the sun falling on your skin, the sense of, even sense of direction, yeah? Use all of your senses to sense the beauty in everything, especially anything that isn't beautiful to you at first glance, at first impression. It's a practice in sensing the beauty within things. I've got a patch of peeling wallpaper in front of me, which really demands my attention. But instead of thinking it's ugly, could I see and sense the beauty in it? And if you need any help, just take the word gratitude in your mother tongue and wallpaper it at the back of your mind in beautiful colours of your choice, Creative Mornings colours. And then look out at the world on this morning, this beautiful Thursday morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are in the world, with a look of gratitude, and see how that helps you see the beauty. Speak to you again in another few minutes and we'll begin our quest. You're doing great. Just remember that word gratitude if you can, and consider, given you can't be anywhere else than where you are at the moment, you are in the perfect place right now, and there's a beauty in that, a real beauty in that. Take another moment or two to see the beauty, sense the beauty in everything. Beautiful. My favorite word this morning, I think, Tina. Beautiful. So, my friends, take a moment to just come to stillness if you can, safely. Find a way to get stable and just take a little inventory of yourself and consider maybe that your senses are more awake than they were a few minutes ago before we started this. You're seeing things in perhaps a little bit more distinction, a bit more dimensionality, a bit more depth. Maybe you're picking up details a little bit more. Maybe you're appreciating the things that maybe you dismissed a little before. That's all great. You're doing great. You're now, let's consider we've logged in to the universe around us, and that universe wants to play. It's like a puppy dog wants to play. And the way we play with our new creative buddy is by asking a question, and then it's going to offer many answers to you. So bring that question to mind now, whatever that question might be that you want to ask. A couple of thoughts for you is, don't make it too huge. Why are we here on Earth? Or too small, like, well, you can imagine something pretty trivial. See if you can find it somewhere in the middle, and make sure you're in the question. Yeah? Not how can my organization, or why would America, or how can Britain, but more me. This is wise selfishness. This is about you and your direction and your next step and what you want and your answer. Yeah? Sometimes the question will change as you walk, and that's also fine. Okay? But bring that question to mind now. And the way this quest works is that you ask the question repeatedly inside your head and let your body take you for a wander. In other words, when it says turn, turn. When it says stop, stop. Look around, sniff. Our ancestors and their ancestors before them relied on their embodied intelligence, the wisdom of the body, and that's what we're plugging into now. We're reading the landscape around us, searching for answers. And what we'd love you to do is to note what pops out at you. Even if you're not quite sure how it's an answer to a question, very often you won't be sure. And bring at least one of those things back, one of those treasures back with you. It could be an actual object you bring back with you to the sharing, or it might be a memory or a mental picture, or actually a picture. Sometimes people like to use their phone as a camera there to collect that moment of insight. But bring at least one thing back with you that might be an answer to your question. Doesn't have to be, but it's something that's flirting with you. Let the world flirt with you. Let's not know for a change. That's creativity. Great, and we'll speak again for the sharing at 10 past the hour. If you're, I think most of the time zones are. It's now 7 minutes to the hour, and we will. Next time you hear my voice, it'll be 10 past the hour in time for sharing what popped out at us. So go wander, have a wonderful time, ask that question, and start collecting those answers. They're everywhere. And by the way, if you bump into a stranger and you feel like it, you can always ask the stranger, and you'll discover that not just the answers are everywhere, but so are teachers very often. See you soon. We are so loving the images that are coming from you guys who are out and about. If you are out and about and haven't turned your camera on, we would love you to. The YouTube audience is enjoying it massively as well. It's a kind of global multi-camera wonder movie, so thank you for that. Enjoy your quest. We're about sort of under halfway through. Just as you're wandering, just see how much you can let your body be the master, the driver, if you like, of this. Maybe don't move until your body wants to, and then only as far as it wants to. It's so attuned. Just keep asking the questions, see where it takes you. You're doing great.
Uno, dos, probando, probando.
Take a couple more minutes for your quest and really pay attention. Sometimes the insight can come at the last second. Is there anything you haven't tried so far? Anything you haven't done? Anything you're still curious about? I'll speak to you in a couple of minutes. So wonderful to watch you each on your individual quest. It's very touching. So let's pause the quest there. Say pause because you have this practice now. You can do it whenever you want. But let's pause now and see what things popped out at you and maybe we could share how they might be an answer to your question as well. So what I'd love you to do, if you're near a laptop, is perhaps put that in the chat. What is the object? What is the little creative treasure that you brought back with you? And how might, we'll talk about how it might be an answer to your question, but anything that came back, it might be an image that's on your retina. It might be a smell, a sense, something that you touched, something, a particular object that you picked up, a person you saw. Just let that come to mind, and it can help to just put it in the chat column so that you select, of all the possible things, you select one. The selection's interesting as well. Give you a moment to try that. Don't worry if you're on a mobile and it's tricky to do. That's fine. We loved St. Joe, by the way. Whoever was out at St. Joe, it'd be lovely. Is it Laurie? We want to applaud you for giving us extraordinary cinematic experience. Laurie, if that is Laurie, perhaps you could unmute and turn your camera just so we could. I'd love to see what, if anything, popped out at you at St. Joe.
Yes. As
Hey,
you
Laurie.
see, hello, how are you?
Well, lovely to see you. I'm surprised to see. It looked as though it was warm out there, but maybe it wasn't so warm.
No, it's fall. It's fall. You saw all the white caps on the lake. This is Lake Michigan. It's quite a blustery day.
And Laurie, did anything pop out at you out of that beautiful landscape at you that kind of might relate to your question?
Well, my quest was really, I wanted just to discover beauty. I live here and you kind of get used to the surroundings where you live. So I thought, can I see beauty in an unexpected way, even though I'm here all the time? And I did. It was amazing.
Oh wow! You're competing with the wind a little, Laurie, there. But what I got was that you were seeing if you could see beauty even in familiar surroundings, and that you did. Is that right?
Right. I saw it in a new way. I saw it more beauty in it than I had before. Little things that I had never noticed before.
Give us one example, Laurie, if you can.
One was when I was walking through an old neighborhood on the way to the beach. There was this house that I'm sure I passed it by, but I never really noticed how beautiful it was. The architecture, the landscaping, it just really stood out to me.
Wonderful, wonderful. And what do you think was different about Laurie that walks past it and Laurie that today didn't walk past it? What's one thing that's different?
I think because of opening up and having that thought in my mind.
Yeah.
So my mind was looking for that because I told it to, or I asked it to.
Yeah. Intention's a powerful thing, Laurie, and I'm not sure I engage it as well as you just did just then. But it's like beauty's available if you instruct our mind to look at it, we will see it. So I mean, we could see nothing but beauty, but we're not a local, right? So it's great that someone's living in paradise could spot that they're living in paradise. Thank you, Laurie. Thanks so much. It's really great. Anybody else would like to maybe share one thing that popped out at them, and how it might be an answer to your question? You can turn all your cameras back on, by the way, and you can also come off mute. Pierre Marie, my friend, my mindful friend. I feel like we have a bond. So I'm just going to ask you, did you manage to go out, and did anything pop out at you?
I did. And the mundane little things that I notice in my regular walks and runs seem to just pop out today, like cracks in the road and details in the bark of a tree. And I could see the arms of the branches of the tree as arms, and things I would normally not notice just were so beautiful to watch. And how much is unnoticed? I'm thinking, like, how much do I not notice and be noticed? So this was a beautiful exercise. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, I think it's you're the beautiful. It's not the exercise. It's humans are beautiful when we notice and when we realize how deep our senses are. Can I ask you, if you don't have to say, but what was the question you were asking, or how does this relate perhaps to the question you were asking? The beautifulness and the trees and so on.
I was asking what can be offered to me, what strength can come through this experience.
Beautiful. And how, tell us if that, how might that tree be an answer to that?
Yeah, and it told me that it could stand in anything and still be strong and have the flexibility to move with whatever sort of came through, which is definitely what I feel with my art, is that there are tumultuous times and there are times where I don't want to go to the canvas, but yet I can be like that tree and just be there and be with what comes through and not let it affect me, let's say mentally, or distract me, and just be with what comes without judgment.
Be with what comes. You're sounding like a kind of a Taoist monk suddenly. It's beautiful. You know what I love? I'm going to ask somebody else. I'm going to ask you all what you love about what Piera said. But what I loved is the tree said. When you said the tree said, for countless generations, our forebears had no issue with the fact that the world was speaking to us. Now we've over-indexed perhaps on, spoken language and data and so on, but you just got some tree data, which I just think is so beautiful, and that's deeply in you and in us. Patricia, what did you love about what our friend said? Patricia Garcia Gomez.
Hi.
Hey.
I love that I loved also that she was listening to a tree, and that she said the tree stood there and said, I can withstand anything. I think it's very powerful to listen to all the elements.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Understood. And they would be saying, there's so much wisdom in there. So much wisdom in there. Patricia, did anything pop out at you while you were out there?
I went out to the closest body of water to me, which is just a few minutes. And when I was walking, there's this floating buoy, and there were 5 loons on it. And it's getting windy. There's a storm that's going to hit in about half an hour. So they're like holding on with their feet, and they're going up and down on the wood and up and down on the wood. And I just thought, wow, it's just really beautiful how they're holding on, and they're in the wind. And then it made me think that on my swim this morning, there were 5 loons also on the faraway rock, and I swam to them. And it was just that moment of symmetry where you see something, and then I saw it earlier this morning. So in some way, those loons were part of my experience today. That was really beautiful.
There is such a beauty in that, isn't there? The way that someone said, creativity is joining the dots, but first you have to collect the dots to join. And you've been dot collecting in some ways. We all have, huh? But the fact that your mind made that beautiful connection between the 5 and the 5, and again, it's deeply in our nature to understand the world symbolically and to make connections the way you just did. And how did it relate? And what was the question you were asking, if you don't mind me asking?
Gosh, I lost sight of my question. My question, for me, it was just suspending the need to have an answer. So when I started the exercise, I was like, what's the question I need an answer to? And instead I said, there's one thing that I'm a little stuck in, but I said, what if you just go not looking for an answer? What if you just go and be open to what appears and just have that touch you in some way? So I went sort of suspending the need for an answer.
It's beautiful. It's lovely just to think of the question as an excuse to play, not to be caught in the right answer, wrong answer thing. There's something for me, a little bit of a connection between you and what Piera said I'm sorry, I'm struggling with Pierre's name. Is that right? I hope it's right. But the sense of there's an element of like, let it be, let it come. We're living in stormy times, and indeed many of you are facing a storm that's about to hit. But there's a beautiful sense of kind of it's coming through of let us be. Let's find equilibrium. Don't fight it, but let's see if we can ride the storm. It's so touching. It's beautiful. Anybody else? Thank you so much, both of you. It's really great. There's a certain synchrony that is beginning to happen, which often does happen when we do this work, where different people in different places have similar experiences. Because I guess we're human, and also because when you're intentional, when you go into the word in an intentional way, magic starts to happen, as I think we'll see. Anybody else like to share something that popped out at them? Jorge, I see your picture's right in the middle of my screen, and you were looking at me, although you were still. It is a still of you, but you're looking very intently at me. So maybe you'd like to unmute. Or Harold in Chinook, or maybe that is your name, Harold Chinook. So don't be shy. This is Creative Mornings. Hey, who's speaking? Jorge, speak up a bit so we can hear you. Where are you calling from?
This is Harold.
We've got
Okay.
both of them on the line.
Okay, so Jorge, wait, hang in there. I'll come to you. Harold, how are you doing? And what popped out at you, sir?
Oh, I'm great. Yeah, thank you for facilitating this free thing.
Pleasure. Did anything pop out at you, Harold? And how? Yeah.
Yeah, my closest park is a cemetery, so I love that. And the park and this work to parts of my life separate, and I found some nice space and time within that question. So thanks.
Harold, thank you for that. It was very mysterious and very intriguing. Thank you to the signal for encoding your message so that I got cemetery and, oh, there he is. I got cemetery and that was about it. But you got value, yeah, Harold? Did you get value from the walk? I'm gonna let's wait until Harold maybe gets back into a better audio zone. Jorge, my friend Jorge, can you still hear us?
Yeah, I'm here.
And
Hi, David, how are you?
Hi, man. Good to hear you. What popped out at you, Jorge? And how might it be an answer to your question?
Well, I'm fascinated by the experience. I love taking pictures and I love walking around all the time. So being able to have this experience where I can share this, I'm not sharing my camera right now because I'm at home and I can't get out right now, but looking through the eyes of other people from different cities, it's like a shared mindset and seeing how much we value the little things. I really appreciate it, and I think it's a way of growing internally and spiritually. So I'm thankful for what you're doing here. In general, for Creative Mornings all these years, and specifically for this experience. I'm fascinated with it.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that kind acknowledgement and the little things, as you said, maybe not so little. It's great, Jorge. It's great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thank you. We're on a roll. And we're going to be you've picked up the creative ball from walk number 1, and we're going to be moving in a minute to the next time zone. Susanna, maybe a final comment from you. Susanna Juarez.
Hi. Thank you. Hey, I found this cracked like phone screen, well, touch screen, I don't know, and it grows, it's dirty and sticky, but I don't know, I had to pick it up and bring it with me. So I don't know why. It's not an answer, but I feel like it might. I don't know why. This
Yeah,
is weird. It's like I have to have this. I don't know.
this is a beautiful thing. When we don't, our brain doesn't know why, but our body knows. So maybe, Susanna, what was your question?
Mm, how to find a space to do personal projects. I want to do a book. I want to have a second season of a podcast. I have so many things I want to do because I want to, but I don't find the space and the resources. So I'm struggling with that.
Okay, genius people. There are people here who are Susanna Juarez experts because we're listening in and we all have great ideas. Ideas in chat about how that cracked screen answers Susanna's question. Go. This is Creative Mornings. Be creative. Yeah? For me, I tell you what it means for me, and it's poetic. And Philip, who is a poet, may disagree, but for me, it's about removing the clutter, removing the screen protector, removing the thing and seeing the thing for itself. How do you get the clutter out the way? It doesn't have to be perfect, says Laurie. Anne says, why don't you look at things with a different perspective, looking through warped glass? What needs to go, says Pedro. Your soul is broken without your passion projects. These are like the wise people that we would go to with our objects in years gone past. So again, for all of us, Susanna, beautiful illustration how let the thing that you don't quite understand stay with you, show it to other wise people and let the meaning emerge. The time is to be found in between. The cracks are the spaces in between. It's saying, Susanna, and I would agree, work in the cracks. Work in the cracks. Beautifully done. So you are the best team 2 we've worked with today. Is that right, Tina?